Hey everybody out there in YouTube, and welcome to another Dark Avengers comic book review. You guys know me, I'm Chris and Amber, and you guys know my cameraman Mike.
Hello.
He's been holding the camera now for 80 plus episodes. We're all tired, it's pretty late. Late start today for everything. First off, this past weekend was my birthday. A few late birthday presents came this past week. First off, my mom thought it was cute. She actually got me a Green Lantern plastic resin magnet, which is from the movie. And also I have a die-cast replica ring, which is on a keychain. It's an exclusive from Toys R Us and Toy Wiz. It's a die-cast ring from the on-screen movie. It's a size 10. It fits my ring finger, but mostly it's for show. It's a very nice ring, very nice little replica thing. For those of you who don't want to spend the 40 bucks on the replica ring like I did, yeah, it's something you might like. I thought it was nice. These are little funny extra gifts I got for my birthday, and I thought that was nice. Alright, so let's get into the comic books this week, because we're not going to talk about the news just yet. And we're going to save the news that I heard this week for the end of this comic review. And there's a reason for it. Because it's only one thing, but it's pretty big, and most of you have probably heard it by now. Radical Comics Abattoir number 5 is coming very soon, guys. Once again, I did not get the first 2 issues of Abattoir, so I am in the dark with this series. However, I can say the artwork is amazing and the writing is pretty good. I wish I knew what I was reading. Once again, I am not good at reviewing series when I don't have the very beginning of anything. So I can't give this series a review, but I can say the artwork is awesome. The writing is really good. I would definitely recommend this book. I'd always recommend Radical. Radical is an amazing comic book series line, and definitely check it out. Very graphic stuff though, guys. Don't forget this is for adults. But yes, I would absolutely recommend this. I can't wait to see the ending of Earp. Earp 404 is coming very soon. It's coming out this month. And Damage issue 1, little advertisement for the future. Damage issue 1 is coming out in August. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. So check it out, guys. Abattoir number 5. That's all I really can say for Abattoir. Okay, getting into the comic books this week that were released on June 1st, 2011. We are officially now at the halfway point in the year. There will probably sometime this month, probably the end of this month, be a half-year review of things that have gone on, and then at the end of the year we'll do a full roundabout year review, depending on certain things that have been mentioned, but we'll get into that at the end of this review. Haunt 16 came out this week. Okay, Kurt and his brother have been separated. Okay, so Kurt is taken to this place. I want to make sure Mikey scanned the comic. You got it? Kurt's taken to this place, and we don't know where it really is. All we know, it's in this, like, white, dismal looking place. That's all they give you. It's white. So it's giving you the illusion that he's in some kind of a limbo. While Daniel, on the other hand, is suffering from severe injuries from the fall. This is a very white comic, by the way. And Herg is now out of jail, and he wants revenge against Haunt, which is Daniel and Kurt, for putting him in jail in the first place. Once again, the artwork, of course, is amazing, though, in this book. So Kurt, basically, after talking to this person whom he thinks is God, who actually tells him that he has a purpose and that's why he needs to still be alive, and if he stays attached to his brother for too long, basically, he's going to exchange places with him. I have a feeling this is a future storyline. Basically, if he stays connected with his brother long enough as Haunt, the life forces are exchanged, and Kurt will be alive, and Daniel will be the dead person. So basically, he's stealing the life force from Daniel to become part of the living world again, and in exchange, Daniel will be the one that dies. This is a future story, I have a feeling. So anyway, Kurt basically gets sent back by this person. We don't know who he is, but the person says he basically has to face the apparition, and Kurt has to stay on Earth, and Haunt has to exist for some purpose. He basically did something. It says here, you must restore what you've disrupted. So basically, Kurt disrupted something, and he has to go back to Earth until he undoes what he's disrupted. and basically he reattaches himself with Daniel, and the first thing they see when Daniel wakes up is the apparition. So they have to beat the apparition. But this unknown voice basically said if the apparition starts to win again, Kurt will be sent back to him, and he'll send Kurt back to Earth again. But I have a feeling that Kurt won't be sent back to him. I think that Haunt is going to face the apparition and beat him in the next issue. This series is awesome. It has Robert Kirkman. It has Todd McFarlane. Enough said. Artwork is amazing. Story is awesome. I'm just hoping that when this reaches its 200th issue, if God willing it doesn't happen the way Spawn is happening right now. No offense to people who like Spawn. Right now, Spawn is somebody new and not as interesting as Haunt. So Haunt is a definite keep for me. Spawn is on the fence and very close to being on the cutting block. But absolutely check out Haunt, guys. I have the first 2 trade paperbacks. This is the 3rd story going on right now. Absolutely recommend it. Absolutely say check it out. And now we're going to go into Marvel. But Amber's actually starting off Marvel this week with X-23. So.
Okay.
First, X-23 number 11.
Cover out of the plastic.
Oh no, you don't have to show it out of the plastic. It's fine in the plastic. Go ahead.
I want to say something, but I want to show it at the same time.
Okay.
The cover art is horrible. Don't
Absolutely.
go by the cover art.
Zoom in on Jubilee's face. I looked at this and I said, geez, this is disgusting. It's terrible. Jubilee looks horrible.
Okay. The cover art is horrible. It really, really is. Whereas, I'll show a better picture in here.
There's a picture of all 4 of them together at some point.
Yeah, you know.
On the roof.
I'm trying to find that.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Don't fold it.
I'm not. This.
That's the
Jubilee.
actual artwork in this comic book.
That's the beautiful artwork. Including this.
Internal artwork is amazing. X-23 has an awesome artist.
Okay, so I'm going to just do a quick rundown of this. What pretty much happens is where it left off. X-23 had cut her throat and Jubilee was kind of going after her. The reason that she did that was because she was testing Jubilee to find out if she would kill her. If Jubilee would kill X-23. Then when Jubilee doesn't, X-23 tells her, because there's a trigger scent that's going around, and they have to find the trigger scent.
I thought it was cute the one part where Jubilee doesn't bite her, but she licks the blood off of her neck.
And she said, in a joking manner, if you remember, she's like, licking your neck was quite gross, but if you had cut the guy's throat, the really cute hunk back there, maybe not so bad. It's hilarious though.
Yeah, there's some weird dialogue going on, but it's pretty awesome. Still has Gambit. Gambit's awesome.
But the main rundown of it is they have to find the trigger scent, and X-23 tells Jubilee, if I happen to get the trigger scent and you see that I'm turning, kill me. Cut off my head. I don't have adamantium in my system, so that'll probably kill me.
Now that the head is reattached, but okay.
How it kind of ends up is quite funny though. X-23 does get the trigger scent, and Jubilee's like, take my hand, and as X-23 goes to cut her hand off, she's like, I didn't mean literally.
Yeah, there's some good puns in there, very good.
They end up on...
But you didn't mention Wolverine, Gambit, X-23. Okay, well you got to the end if you were going back to the middle.
Yes, Jubilee, X-23, Gambit, and Wolverine all went for the trigger scent.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
I don't want to give everything away, but the ending, she ends up on a railroad track, and Jubilee's there as well, and she's like...
Train coming.
What were the words? I'm sorry. I'm blanking.
Oh, great.
No. She's like, stop, X. I don't want to. Oh, great.
And both of them basically have healing factor, so neither one of them are going to die, and probably by the next issue they're going to get hit by the train, and then it's going to come back. And then you get an exclusive preview of Captain America #1. After the things that happen in Fear itself, which we'll get into later, now I kind of see why Steve Rogers might be Cap again, but that's for future review. You didn't read the Captain America? First off, X-Force #10, Uncanny X-Force #10. I'm going to give you guys the briefing because Uncanny X-Force #11 is now out this week. This is the prequel to the Dark Angel saga. Basically, Warren can no longer control his Archangel half. He goes a little loco, and X-Force steps in to stop him. And then they have to figure out a way to save Warren from the Dark Archangel. So they enlist Dark Beast, and Dark Beast basically says they need something called a life seed, which can only be found on his world, the Age of Apocalypse. That's the briefie for this. Artwork, as always, for X-Force is wonderfully beautiful. I want to show you a little bit of artwork here, and then we're going to go into the artwork and the other part of this book. Archangel, here's perfect. Archangel on this page, and Wolverine right next to him on the other page. Beautiful artwork, X-Force. The X titles have really awesome artwork right now, minus what happened in X-Men with that terrible run with the Lizard. So absolutely check out X-Force 10. Now we're going to jump into the next one, which is Chapter 1 of the Dark Angel Saga, Uncanny X-Force number 11. So X-Force travels to Dark Beast's world to get the life seed. Oh, and also, by the way, the reason Archangel is now winning in Warren's mind is because he is now the heir of Apocalypse. That's basically why Archangel is basically taking control. So anyway, they go to Dark Beast World, and in Dark Beast World, a lot of people that died in the regular Marvel Universe are now alive again in the Age of Apocalypse. By the way, this is the Age of Apocalypse, with X-Force just staring on, and Deadpool says we're going to somehow get stuck here because there's a time limit that for them to be there. And of course they face off against the X-Men of that world, and of course Sabretooth is alive. You get a little bit of a confrontation between Wolverine and Sabretooth, even though Sabretooth is found out to be a good guy. Dark Beast is actually the evil. Dark Beast, Scott Summers, Alex Summers, and who else was in that portrait? And that's it. We're part of Apocalypse's group, so to speak. So they weren't considered X-Men. They were evil in this world. So basically Dark Beast betrays X-Force and goes back to their home world, leaving them trapped in his dark apocalyptic world. So now X-Force has to figure out a way home, and basically the X-Men of that world take them to their secret base, which happens to be where old Atlantis used to be, or Atlantis period. And since Professor Xavier is dead, there is a leader, and it's the one person that would hurt Wolverine the most. Jean is here. Aha. The next cover is very suggestive, by the way. X-Force is awesome. And of course, once again, you get the Captain America #1 preview in this issue. I'm looking forward to seeing where this all goes. Yes, you can in a second. It's good to see Kurt alive again. I wish they'd bring Nightcrawler back in the regular Marvel Universe. And they probably will at some point. But this story's going really hot. This is going to be X-Force's hot story of the year. Hottest story. One of the hottest stories of the year is this Archangel saga. And this cover was awesome, number 10. And the way the story's going is really awesome too. Okay, we're going into the Amazing Spider-Man 663. We're 3 issues away from 666. That's going to be a very scary issue, I have a feeling. We're not infested yet. We still have infestations, the road to infestation at the top for Spider Island. But the story is about the anti-venom, and it's found out here, spoiler alert, that, I have to get her name right before I say that, the person who's calling herself Wrath, turns out Jean DeWolf is really alive, or so to speak, thought to be alive. And Anti-Venom finds her in the very beginning of the issue. He's going after Mr. Negative's group. He wants to cleanse Manhattan of Mr. Negative, no matter what the cost. Mr. Negative has to die. That's in his mind. He wants to save Manhattan from Mr. Negative and the world from Mr. Negative. Where somewhere else, Pete is celebrating his big break in, what's that magazine called? It is called American Science Journal, and Aunt May is promoting him a lot too. By the way, the artwork is really good in this Amazing Spider-Man issue. Spider-Man looks awesome. And also, there's a little other thing here. In Horizon Labs, he just invented a new kind of web shooter, voice activated. See, here he goes, right web shooter, do a web barrage, and the other one to do a web net. Pretty interesting. Looking forward to seeing how that works out. And actually, he does use it once towards the end of this issue when he finds Anti-Venom, whom is attacking Mr. Negative after Aunt May has a weird flashback after Mr. Negative comes very close to her. So that was kind of scary. That she had that flashback and she faints, and it ends up Pete goes after her and finds Anti-Venom going after Mr. Lee, who turns out to be Mr. Negative. But Spider-Man doesn't know that, so him and Anti-Venom start fighting, and the problem is when Anti-Venom's around, Spider-Man slowly becomes cured of his spider powers, and he's slowly losing, piece by piece he loses his speed, then he loses his strength, and finally he's starting to get overly cured, and that's where it's to be continued. Anti-Venom says, I'm gonna have to take care of you once and for all. And they leave you up. Then there's a Cloak and Dagger part, which is part of Spider Island, and to be continued. It's good to see Eddie Brock back in a Spidey issue. And by the way, I kind of find this ironic. This is a Marvel comic book, okay, Marvel, with DC's latest movie on its back cover, promoting milk. Kind of redundant, wouldn't you say, a Marvel comic representing a DC movie? Somebody paid somebody else off.
Chuck Xavier.
Yeah, they call it, Wolverine calls Charles Xavier Chuck. Kind of funny. I laughed at that when I saw the back of this issue. I said, really? Okay, whatever. I think the back of this issue too has, yep, Green Lantern. Check it out, guys. Once again, I believe this is all leading into Spider Island. You know, they gotta have the stories. I think Spider Island is gonna start at 666. So in 3 more issues, we'll be seeing Spider Island, unless I'm wrong and it's 665. Well, anyway, concluding Marvel this week. Fear Itself, Book 3 of 7. Lot of things happen here. Okay, we're gonna stay on Earth first. Captain America and the Avengers go at, well, 2 of the Avengers, Black Widow and Falcon, go after Sin and her army invading Washington, D.C. And they're going, you're done, right? They're going all out at Washington. And then it jumps over to Asgard, where Kid Loki, I tell you the truth, Kid Loki looks evil, and he's just a kid. Imagine what happened. But he's actually good. He helps break his brother, Thor, out of his jail cell, and they go running off. And then it turns out that Element Man got his hammer, and also somewhere else on Earth, in Brazil, Hulk is now under the control of his hammer, and there's some epic stuff going on between him and Betty. Betty's trying to snap him out of it, but it's not working. And then in New York, this was the most messed up part, but I'm going to, since I get Spider-Man, Fear Itself Spider-Man, it's going to pertain to this. Yeah, Ben Grimm touches one of the hammers, and this happens. He becomes part of the Fear group. Then we go back to Asgard. Thor has to find a way back to Midgard, also known as Earth, and his father shows up and says, you know what, I'm trying to protect you, I'm trying to save you. Thor doesn't want to have that. He says, if you want to save me, I don't need you to save me, you're crazy, send me back to Earth. So basically, Thor's father sends him, Odin sends him back to Earth and gives him back his hammer, and he says, don't ever say I never give you anything. And that's where they leave you off with Thor. And then Steve Rogers just jumps out of an airplane randomly in a one-page little synopsis where Steve Rogers is. And then it concludes with Bucky going up against Sin. And spoiler alert to the million right here. She sends a bolt of lightning and she stabs right through with her hammer. And from what I can tell here, Bucky dies. Or Bucky is going to die. So Bucky Cap is dead. And that's why I think Captain America #1 is going to be Steve Rogers again. And then they give you the little spoiler here for the next book. See, it's Bucky. Either he's on an operating table or he's dead. So I'm not sure if Bucky dies or not yet. Here you got Iron Man with the celestial lights. I think that's going to be Thor. And then here you got Thor facing the Serpent King or whatnot. And then they give you little add-ons for all the other books. The only one I'm getting is The Thing's Rampage and Fear Itself Spider-Man #3. That's the only thing I'm going to be getting. But anyway, wow. First of all, artwork is awesome, but wow, the whole ending with Bucky, I don't think Bucky's surviving this. I'm being honest, guys. I think this is the end for the second generation Captain America. I think this is how Steve Rogers is going to come back into being the Captain America of the Marvel Universe. Fear itself is a very big thing going on in Marvel, but not so big that it's really hurting its franchise, unlike something else that we're going to get into very soon. Absolutely check out Fear itself. I was on the fence with this. I was worried. It's only on issue 3 of 7. A lot of room for them to mess up and screw something up, but for right now, the series is going pretty strong, and I'm enjoying it a bunch. Going into DC Comics, 2 books that I am not reviewing. I got them for a certain reason. World of Flashpoint 1 of 3 and Secret 7 1 of 3. Both of these will not be, I will not be getting parts 2 and 3. Both books severely did not interest me at all. Only reason I actually got them was to give the series a chance. World of Flashpoint, I got bored halfway through. Maybe you guys like it, maybe not. And Secret 7 halfway through. Actually, this kind of interested me a little bit more than World of Flashpoint. Both of them have wonderful artwork, though, by the way. This one, dare I say, I might look into the second part too. I might, just because it filled out nice. So I might be looking into Secret 7, the next 2 parts. But for the time being, I'm not going to review it, just for the simple fact that, I said I wasn't going to get all these, but I figure I'll give the first issues a chance. And there were 4 tie-ins this week, and these 2 are definitely the weakest of the 4. Reason I got these 2? Very simple. Like Blackest Night with the rings, Flashpoint is doing a pin method. This is the one you get if you get the Secret 7. This is the one you get if you get the World of Flashpoint. So that's the reason why I got those 2 issues. Now, the other 2 issues that came out, however, I have a different opinion on. First, we're going to do Batman Night of Vengeance 1 of 3. This is the Batman tie-in. This is basically Thomas Wayne is Batman. Bruce isn't Batman in this universe. And Thomas Wayne, the Joker shows up and steals Harvey Dent's children. Harvey Dent is not Two-Face, obviously, yet in this universe. So Harvey Dent says, either you find a way to save my kids, or there's going to be hell in Gotham. So, okay, there's going to be hell in Gotham. And turns out Commissioner Gordon knows Thomas Wayne is Batman. I guess since there's no Alfred, because as far as I see, there's no Alfred yet. Killer Croc does make an appearance in this issue. The artwork is kind of grim, kind of dark. Thomas Wayne as Batman is weird. Reading this is very weird. But then again, Flashpoint just is very weird. And we don't know who the Joker is, but I have a feeling it's not the Joker we know. And it's to be continued. Joker actually makes a tiny appearance here, and it says to be continued. Kind of nervous to see where this is all going, but then again, it's just an alternate reality. Hopefully it won't suck, and this is the pin you get if you get the Batman one. This one, however, I was not that disappointed with. Abin, the Green Lantern, 1 of 3. Okay, this is basically if Hal Jordan didn't become a Green Lantern. Abin you get a little prequel to the whole story where Abin is a child, and he's with his sister Irene, who's saying life is important. That was the whole lesson you learn in the first few pages. Artwork in this was absolutely beautiful. And then it goes into a fight between Abin Sur and the Manhunters, and yes, Sinestro is still a Green Lantern at this point in time during this series. And he confronts Abin Sur and says the Black Lanterns are taking over the sectors. Kilowog, spoiler, Kilowog just died fighting against them, and basically they have to fight against the Black Lanterns. Since Hal Jordan isn't around, different situation, different outcome. So the Guardians ask, Irene, Abin Sur's sister, apparently dies, and him and Sinestro couldn't do anything about it, which is why he vows that every life is important and he's going to protect it. So the Guardians sent him to Earth to collect the white entity, and they say you cannot interfere with the Earth people, the humans' way of life. It's forbidden for you to be involved. Let them kill each other for all we care. Just get the entity. And Abin Sur says life is important no matter what, and I'm going to help them. And in the last few pages, Abin Sur crashes to Earth. We don't know if he dies or if he lives. So that's where they leave you there. And then in the very last page, you have Green Lantern Sinestro talking to Red Lantern Atrocitus, asking what is Flashpoint? What is the Flashpoint? And it says in the next issue, Hal Jordan. We don't know if Hal Jordan will be a Green Lantern yet, but I have a very strong feeling he might be. This was good. Then we're going into the actual Flashpoint. Flashpoint Part 2 of 5. Flash is trying to convince Thomas Wayne Batman that he needs Thomas Wayne's help to become the Flash again and to figure out what's going on and why the world is the way it is. Somewhere in the middle of his conversation, though, he has a big, this everybody's seen, a big flash, or something happens in his mind, and his memories start to change to the way the world is now. And that kind of convinces Thomas Wayne to listen to him. And then a ring shows up, and thinking it's his costume, it's not. It turns out it's the Reverse Flash's costume, and this is basically Barry saying, this is the Reverse Flash telling me it's him. We have to figure out a way. I have to get my speed back, and I have to set things right. And Batman agrees to help Barry because he wants his son to live instead of him. And then we go into New Themyscira, which is London, and it turns out that, oh god, what's his name? He's a part of the Wonder Woman series. Colonel Steve Trevor is trying to find Lois Lane, who is who's part of the Resistance that's going against the Amazons. She basically has blended in with the Amazons, and I think Wonder Woman looks pretty nice in this. She's been part of the Amazons to figure out what their plan is and report it to everyone else to prevent the Amazons from taking over the world. Also, I forgot to mention in the very beginning, Deathstrike, or what I'm guessing is Deathstrike, gets killed by the evil Aquaman. Because it turns out Emperor Aquaman, and it turns out the people from Atlantis and the people from Themyscira are fighting over who's going to control the world. Anyway, Barry tries to replicate what happened to him the first time when he gained his speed, and I'm not going to show you guys the last page, but let's just say, yeah, it doesn't turn out the way he expected. Flip flap. Okay, if you want to pause the video, flip flap. Okay. And this is why I'm excited for Flashpoint number 4, The Search for Superman, question mark. And then they give you a map at the very end telling you what's going on in the Flashpoint world. I did like Flashpoint, and I'll explain why I didn't like it as soon as I review the last comic this week. Oh, I'm getting the finger. Okay, I'm going to be reviewing the last comic as well as doing the big news in the next part. See you guys there.